Hey guys, welcome to my channel Tutor Fazeel. This is the part 3 video of the 3-part video series where I was talking about the new features of Python 3.8. So let's quickly get started with part 3. Alright, so the first new feature is the f string, which was included after 3.6 or in 3.6. Which supports equal to now in the process of documenting expressions and for debugging, which can be very useful. So what do I mean by that? If you see here, this is Python 3.7, and here I'll write the f string, and let me just try to print something. I'll say value equal to, okay, and let me just give some value equal to 12. Okay, if I try to print this, observe it tells me that this equal to is not allowed. It is an invalid syntax. I'll try the same thing in Python 3.8. First thing I have to do is activate the environment. If you remember, it was Python 3.8 venv. Now inside this, what I'll do is I'll make use of this Python command to go inside, and I'll be working on Python 3.8. So I'll give the same f value is equal to, let's say, 12, and I'll give the same f string. I'll say f and then followed by value equal to, and then I close this quote. Observe it works. All right. So this difference is basically it helps us for documentation. All right, and also sometimes in debugging it becomes very helpful. All right, so the second important the change that you can see is continue being included in the finally block. You guys must be aware that in finally block, previously we were not able to write the continue statement. So when do you use continue? We use continue in case if we have some kind of a loop, right? So let's say I have a loop. Let's say I have a loop, okay, and I have a condition like a is equal to 0, and I'm saying while a is less than 5. All right, and I'll write a try, and I'll just like literally randomly I'm just writing something. Okay, I'm just going to make deliberate error, okay, and it will directly go into an except block. Why? Because L of 12 does not exist, first of all, and that also that 12 is an index which is out of range. First of all, L itself does not exist, right? To prove that point, let me just show you. L does not exist. It's a name error, right? Fine. So I'll just give here randomly, I'll just say print, just say hello, whatever. All right. I'll just give this finally block, and I want to show you what happens if I write continue. Okay, and also let me just perform a plus equal to 1. Why? Because I have to increase a, otherwise it will become an infinite loop, right? So observe here, when I write this continue, if I run this, it gives me an error. It says syntax error, continue not supported inside finally clause. I'll give the same code, okay, in Python 3.8. okay, observe, I'll run this. Observe it works perfectly fine. So this is a new change that has been included in Python 3.8. okay, the next one is with respect to dictionary, and so previously the dictionaries could not be reversed using the reversed function. Okay, so there was a reversed function. Okay, using this we could reverse the iterable objects previously. Let me just do it. Let me give an example. Observe 12, 23 and 34 is basically a list object, right? If I reverse it, observe, it becomes an iterator. In order to read it, I'll just use it in a for loop, and I'll try to print this I. Observe 34, 23 and 12 comes up, right? So this is possible, right? This with respect to list, it is possible. let us see if the same thing is possible with respect to a dictionary. So let me define a dictionary inside, and let's say K1 and its value is V1, and then the next object is K2, I mean the next key value pair is K2 and its value is V2. If I run this, observe, it gives me an error. It says dict object is not reversible. It's a type error, right? Now if I do the same thing, I'll just copy this and I'll write it in Python 3.8. Observe, it works perfectly fine. Okay, so this is the third change that has been included. All right, so the next point is that the generalized iterable unpacking, which you can use it in the concept of functions and generators with respect to return and yield statements, you don't need to have an enclosing parenthesis anymore. All right, so I think I spoke a big sentence. Let me just break it down. Let me just write a function. All right, let's get started. Let's say I have a function f1, okay, and it accepts an argument arg. And here, let's say I want to unpack the arg, okay. I want to read from my argument and read into some variables. The variable names that I have probably are a, comma b, but remaining whatever I'm unpacking, I want to, let's say, unpack it in a variable, let's say c. All right, and arg could be, let's say, it's a list, or it could be, let's say, a string separated by spaces or commas or whatever. Then in that case, what I'll do is, because it's a string, assuming that it's a string, I'll say arg dot, I'll do split based on, let's say, a comma. Okay, and then finally I'll write a return statement where I'll try to return a, comma b, comma star c. Observe, as soon as I run this cell, it throws me an error. It says invalid syntax. Now, in order to get rid of the syntax, first of all, I'll have to enclose them within a parenthesis. This is what happens in 3.7 up to 3.7, and this has been removed from 3.8. You don't have to give the parenthesis. Anyway, let me just let me just run this. Okay, let me have an arg, which is, let's say, string, which is having some random emails. Okay, abcd@gmail.com, bcdef@yahoo.com. all right, I have some random ones more. Let's say faz@hotmail.com. all right, and let's say comma tutor@gmail.com, some random stuff. All right, and then I call the function f1 with arg. Observe, it unpacks automatically. A gets the first one, which is abcd@gmail.com. B gets this bcdef@yahoo.com, and star C, meaning it's unpacking all those which are on the right hand side, which if there are too many, that's okay. On the left hand side, it says I can still accept it. All right, so it accepts fuzz@hotmail.com and tutor@gmail.com within this C. That entire thing has been returned back from function. All right, so this is how it works in Python 3.7 at least. I'll just copy the same thing, and in fact I'll copy this also. Let me just write it in one line. Okay, so I'll copy this same thing, but this time I won't give this parenthesis. Okay, observe, when I run this, sorry, I think I did a mistake. It's a copy error, my bad. Let me just do it line by line. All right, okay, so this is the first one. Observe, I have defined the function. It does not throw me an error. Previously it was showing me an error, right, in 3.7 at least. All right, so let me just take this, arg is equal to this. Let me write it down. All right, and now I'll call my f1 with this arg, and observe, it works the same way as it worked in 3.7. all right, fine. So this is the fourth change that could be very helpful for you guys. All right, the last one that I want to talk about is with respect to it's more of, as a warning status, that it tells us that, hey, it could be a small error that you have done it by mistake. Please take care of it. So what is that? Let me go back to 3.7. Let's say I have a list of tuples, okay, and if let's say this is how it was supposed to be, okay, 1 comma 2, and here 3 comma 4. Now, and I have this L is equal to list of tuple of 1 comma 2, which is the first element. The second element is 3 comma 4. Now, what if by mistake we ended up remove that comma? Then observe, it gives me a type error, tuple object is not callable. What it understands is that it thinks that I'm probably trying to call using a tuple, but that is not the case. So how helpful does 3.8 become? If you see here, if I give the same thing in Python 3.8, observe, it gives me a syntax warning. It says tuple object is not callable, perhaps you missed a comma. And then of course it also tells us that it's a type error, so just take care of it. Okay, maybe you made a syntax error, right? So this is it, and this concludes the part 3 and also the entire part 3 three videos that I had promised that I'll be making. And I hope you liked the video, and if you did, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Bye.